He's constantly doing flips. He runs a real estate team called the Dream Team. When I see his stuff, he inspires me. Matty, here we go.
I'm going to tell you my little adventure in real estate. You know, unlike all these young guys, I've been around for a while. I've been on 20 years. I started out 2000 doing real estate investment also. I started buying multifamilies, zero down, no interest loans, stacking properties. I was making $50,000 a year as a retail manager, and I somehow had $5-6 million worth of property. And it was great. I was making 20% on my money. Unfortunately, 2008 came along. I wasn't making any money in real estate. My tenants weren't paying me, and that 20% turned to a negative 50%. You know what I mean? American Express had a nice credit line. They figured out I was paying mortgages with the credit line. They put it on a freeze. So that's how my real estate started. I was doing the BRR method, but it was BRR broke. So I went back to work with real estate, selling real estate. We had a lot of lean years. And then eventually I started picking up more real estate. I started to develop a team about 3-4 years ago. We've done about $115 million in sales. Our average sale is about $500,000. So I decided to get a little back into real estate investment against the wishes of my wife, because she had been through what I'd been through, so she didn't want to do it. So I decided to do the flip method. You know, I started to buy properties and flip them, fix them, repair them, sell them, because she didn't want any tenants. We've been through the tenant. Massachusetts does definitely favor tenants. so I learned a lot about properties. I've been doing it for a while. I do have a building materials experience for over 30 years, so I know properties. I know kitchens, I know doors, I know all the materials that you have to put into the properties. So then I started looking at physical obsolescence in properties, functional obsolescence, and economic obsolescence. Those are 3 types of properties that I see that you can buy for a flip. And depending on what they have, they can be the easiest or the worst properties you can buy. They can be great opportunities, but they also can be great pitfalls. So there they are, broken down. Functional means it's property losing value due to architectural style, outdated, local economic conditions. Economic is a big thing with factories shutting down, roads coming in, all kinds of things can lead to economic disparity in communities. There's a lot of communities in Massachusetts that were mills, like he was saying earlier, manufactured jobs, they all left. Only properties what really were valuable were around Boston. Everything in the outlying areas was really low. So over time that's changed. Physical obsolescence is probably the easiest one for flips. That's the one I see the most. That's when you go into a house, you know, it's beat up, there's cars out in the yard, baby's kids live there, and everything's ruined, wallpaper's torn, everything's busted. These ones you can go in, they're functionally okay. They're a split level ranch, they're colonial, they don't have any oddities to them. They're basically the paint, flooring, bathrooms, kitchens. So you can go into those flips and basically, as an experienced flipper, say, I'm going to buy this at X, I'm going to put X into it, and it's going to be worth this, because everything's normal on that property, other than the condition. So that's a fix and flip. That's basically where I get in most of my business nowadays. There it is right there, physical obsolescence. There's what to offer. Tom has a 70% rule. He'll talk about that later. I won't go into his spiel because he has his own deal. You know what I'm saying? But basically, when you go into a house, you see the kitchen's bad. It's got formica tops. It's got old cabinets. It's beat up. The flooring, linoleum, you know, it's not good. Nowadays, we've got LVT. The best find I find in property is when you get carpet throughout the whole house, you rip it up, and you got hardwood floors. Don't know why the baby boomers covered up all their hardwood floors, but they're crazy. So I love hardwood floors. Millennials love hardwood floors. They also love VCT. They love tile. You know what I mean? They like a nice home. So that's who's buying the flips these days, too. It's when Tom talked about the pandemic, you know, those people rented. They didn't want to buy. They were with the 2008 generation. Their parents were that 2008 generation that didn't want home ownership because they watched their parents struggle. They watched foreclosures, a lot of broken homes, a lot of stuff happened in that dark period of real estate. So when we came through that, it's a whole different situation these days. Everyone's like, it's going to crash, it's going to crash. I don't see it crashing. It's a whole different environment. Those loans that they were given were very bad, you know what I mean? And They weren't buyers really for anything at that point. Topic 2, functional obsolescence. This is when you get into homes, you have to look at the functionality of the house. Those asbestos-covered coal conversion boilers, slate roofs, all kinds of stuff that's pitfalls in these homes that need more than cosmetic repairs. You know what I mean? And you also have to factor that into the resale value. There's a couple. Bathroom on the first floor is a big one in older homes. In the old days when they built the house, the bathroom was on the other wall of the kitchen. It was easy to run the plumbing. The stack was there. There was no second floor bathrooms. When I do a flip today, I always try to put in a second bathroom, usually on the second floor. I run into problems with capes a lot of times because you have to either factor in a dormer or something to put it on the second floor, so I do a lot of conversions on the first floor to a first floor master suite, master bedroom. Sometimes I do a golden rule, which is take away a bedroom. They said never take away a bedroom. Sometimes they take a 4-bedroom home with 2 small bedrooms and convert it into a master suite with a master bath, because people buying homes these days, they're a little bit selfish. We all like our little space, you know what I'm saying? So functional obsolescence, you have to look at that when you go into a home and realize it's going to impact your resale value. If the cost of correcting those items outweighs the benefit, you leave it alone. Maybe? But if there's room in that budget to correct those things, you should correct those things, because that's where you're going to get the most bang for your buck. Topic number 3, economic obsolescence, which is a great topic for this area. Worcester. For a long time, Worcester had factories. They were economic driven. They had great economy. So they had multi-families. What else did the pandemic do? Pushed people out of the city out further. So the economic circle has grown since the pandemic greatly. The rental property is almost impossible to build cheap in Boston area. So now where do you have the most multifamilies in Massachusetts? Lowell, New Bedford, Worcester, Springfield. These markets are great for an owner to buy investment property. They're also a lower price point on the purchase that haven't really caught up to the core area of Boston. One of the problems with flips now is the bottom price in the Boston area has gotten so close to the actual ARV, there's no meat on the bone. So that's why I see them. What has Worcester got? Does everybody here think Worcester's a good market to buy in now? Yes. Woo! We got the Roo Sox, right? You got the airport coming in. Everything has gotten better in Worcester lately. You know what I mean? It's not that bad of a commute. Everyone talks about the commute. Another thing is people don't commute anymore. I'm amazed at how many people work from home 3 or 4 days a week. I don't know if they're working from home, they're sleeping most of the time, but they're getting paid, so they can afford these properties, you know what I mean? So I think the Worcester area, I look at South Coast Massachusetts, also Lawrence, New Bedford, Lawrence, Lowell, those areas were once looked upon as who wants to buy up there, you know what I mean? I remember $90,000, $75,000 triple deckers in all those communities. Take a look at them now. So this is one of my last flips I just did. It was in Plymouth, which this home, like all those obsolescence I talk about, they don't have to be one per property. Sometimes they can have all 3 going on. And I mean, those are real challenges. So Plymouth was an area that I lived in for 20 years. It had the nuclear power plant. When I moved down there, I said, oh, the nuclear power plant, like Homer Simpson was going to be driving through your yard, you know what I mean? So the nuclear power plant was closed, you know what I mean? That's closed. A lot of homes were cottages, so they were smaller. This house particularly it was a cape, no room in the budget to put a dormer on it, but it only had 1 bathroom. So here's the second floor. It had paneling, it was painted. That's one of the bedrooms. It had no closet. It had I did the built-ins because I did the knee walls to pick up extra space, because everybody needs space, and on small bedrooms you got to have space because people want a dresser, where's the bed going, that kind of stuff. Ripped up the floor. I put in the I put in the recessed lights. I always put in recessed lights. No offense, but I hate the bubble lights or whatever you want to call them. There's other names people call them. I hate those lights. I put recess in everything. I love the LED recessed look. It had a fireplace, which I love fireplaces. I kept it. It had hardwood floor under this carpet, another one. It had the beadboard old tongue groove pine, which I painted gray. Everybody loves the gray color, you know. Here's the kitchen. It was blocked off. It was like a galley kitchen. You couldn't see it from the living room. So I opened up the wall. I didn't want to open the whole thing because I didn't want to put an LVL in. So I just did a peek through with an overhang for stools, New appliances, quartz countertops, white sugar cabinets. There's another one. I don't know what was going on in this room. There's no closet in this room. There's actually a closet behind that door that you can't see in this picture. So I had to frame out a little closet.
Wow.
I mean, this is the basement. There was nothing in the basement. I always like to add basement space. I try not to buy houses with low basements, which we can get to that a little later. But this is a house that had a nice room for the basement, had walk-down bulkhead. This was in Plymouth. It's only 3 blocks from the beach. It was a great location. This is 2 bedrooms. I actually converted it to this master bedroom. There were 2 small bedrooms. They had them stapled up. We want to talk about functional obsolescence. How about those staple up 12 by 12 tiles? On a low flip, some people like to paint them. They always have stains on them. I get rid of them. You know what I mean? So I did the hardwood floors over in that one. Here's the kitchen again. I mean, the kitchen is the focal point. The kitchen and the master bedrooms are the 2 focal points I usually do on the house because I think that's what sells the house. Like I said, there's a lot of women in this room. Women make the decisions on buying houses, 100%. Closet space is another one. I heard that. Yep. So that's basically what I do when I go into a home. I look at what the home needs. Is it just physical obsolescence, or is it economical obsolescence, or is it economic obsolescence? Which economic obsolescence can go 2 ways. You know what I mean? It could be something that just happened in that community that's going to take the values down, or it can be something that this community is emerging from that's going to make the value go higher.